We are live, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to call to order the first council meeting of 2025. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, this is really a momentous occasion, as you found out back in December when we swore in 3 new council members. We went from over 50 years of experience on the dais to where we now have our most senior council member, Councilmember Jorgens, has been with us for 2 years. So we're starting anew. It's an exciting day for the city of Newark. I'm certainly excited. With new representatives comes new ideas and a new sense of where we're going to go in the future for the betterment of our community. So I'm going to do something tonight that we don't normally do, just in honor and recognition of our new council members. I'm going to call roll and just ask you to indicate that you're here this evening. Councilmember Del Concio.
Here.
Councilmember Grindal.
Here.
Councilmember Little.
Here.
I'm sorry, Vice Mayor Little. Vice Mayor Little. And Councilmember Jorgens.
Present.
Great, thank you. We have the entire council here this evening. First item is going to be presentations, and we're going to be commending the Community Emergency Response Team member, Gary Saturin. Gary, could you join me at the podium? As we see what's happening down in Southern California, the tragedies, the people that have lost lives, the people that have lost their homes, homes that they've worked for to acquire and have been family homes for decades, they're losing their homes. It just reminds us why public safety and community participation when it comes to responding to emergencies is so important in our community. And one of those organizations, of course, is our CERT team. And so we're really pleased that we have such a positive group of individuals that are out there every day making sure that not only is our community safe, but we feel safe, and I want to commend them. But I want to commend tonight CERT board member Gary Saturin. Gary Saturin has been a dedicated member of the Newark Community Emergency Response Team since 2001. Whereas Gary has served as a committed CERT board member since 2003, demonstrating exceptional leadership and service to the community. And whereas during the unprecedented challenges of the CZU, Cal Fire, San Mateo, Santa Cruz unit fire, Gary played a crucial role in supporting Cal Fire response by being part of the Newark CERT team that deployed to the communications center at the Alameda County Fairgrounds. So we're not just CERT members for our own community. We're here to help other communities that find themselves in need. That's what regional cooperation looks like. Whereas Gary engaged at the 4th of July pancake breakfast, Newark Days, and National Night Out, and helped provide the Newark CERT program in our community. Whereas Gary's initiative in upgrading CERT communication equipment and significantly enhanced the team's operational readiness. And whereas Gary's efforts in developing the Newark CERT team task book have provided invaluable resources and guidance for current and future CERT members. Whereas Gary unwavering commitment to emergency preparedness and community resilience exemplifies the spirit of volunteerism and civic duty. Now, therefore, I, Michael Hannon, Mayor of the City, on behalf of my council colleagues, commend CERT board member Gary Saturin for his outstanding and honorable service to the Newark community. Let's hear it for Gary. I want to present this to you, Gary. I don't know if you wanted to say a few words or not, but let me present this to you, my friend.
All right, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
I don't think I'm going to say anything.
I think you've covered all bases.
Thank you, Gary. Congratulations. It's always exciting when we recognize outstanding effort by students within our city organization, within our city community. So I would ask Kenji Kawabata to join me, please. Kenji. Hi, Kenji. I told Kenji I was going to butcher his last name. I think I did okay, didn't I, Kenji? I did. Good, good, good. Whereas so now I'm never going to repeat his last name because I just jinxed myself. Whereas Kenji is a junior at Newark Memorial High School. Kenji was named the Athlete of the Week by the Bay Area newspaper group after leading the Cougars to a victory in the Mission Valley Athletic League opener on September the 11th, 2024, with a time of 15.33 for the 3-mile course. He has accomplished much more since that honor, and whereas Kenji won first place at the Clovis Invitational in the Division III Boys 5K race with a time of 15:59 on October 12, 2024. Whereas during the Camalindo meet on October 23, 2024, Kenji placed 5th in the 3,200 meter overall and holds the school record. Whereas at the Mission Valley Athletic League Championship on November the 6th, Kenji ran a 3-mile course with a time of 14:52. On November 23rd, 2024, at the North Coast Sectional Championship, Division III Boys, Kenji placed first in the 3-mile course with a time of 16:36. And whereas on November 30, 2024, at the California Interscholastic Federation State Championship meet, Division III, Kenji placed 14th overall in the 5K race with a time of 15:28. Now, therefore, I, Michael Hannon, Mayor of Newark, on behalf of my colleagues, commend Kenji for his outstanding effort in the track and field and cross country and representing our community so well. So congratulations, Kenji, on your achievements. Say a few words?
Sure.
Sure.
I'd just like to thank all my coaches at the high school and all the staff who've been there to support me. And most of all, I want to thank my family who's always there to support me at home and at all the races. And I'd like to thank my teammates for always pushing me to be the best version of myself. That's it.
Excellent.
Thank you.
I know Kenji knows this, but the University of Portland has one of the most outstanding cross-country programs in the United States. Not that I'm suggesting or advocating on their behalf, but I just wanted to, make sure that I provided that information. Congratulations, Kenji. Yes. See, my most senior council member, Matthew Jorgen, says, no, Mayor, this is what you want. I actually looked over to my vice mayor thinking, here you go, Mayor. Nope. It took my most senior council member to help me out. Thank you, Councilmember Jorgens. We have a number of new employees in our city organization, and this is always such a positive event for us because public service, as I've told others, is a real privilege. It's a privilege to serve the public. So I'd like to start off with Cora Dino, please. Cora? Hi, Cora. Nice to see you. Cora Dino has over 15 years of experience as a human resources director in the cities of Belmont and San Bruno, and served as human resources director for the former Belmont San Carlos Fire Department, Belmont Fire Protection District, as well as the Peninsula Clean Energy, where she led and practiced in all areas of people operations and employee experience, including talent acquisition, employee and labor relations, employee engagement and recognition, performance management, benefits administration, workers' compensation, training and development compensation, classification. I'm just getting tired reading this. No. Wow, no, seriously. You must have been the only employee in that organization, for goodness sakes. Labor law compliance, employee wellness and safety, diversity, equity, accessibility, and inclusion initiatives. She brings an incredible depth of knowledge. If that doesn't summarize that incredible wealth of knowledge, nothing else is going to do so. Cora has a Master's of Public Administration degree from the University of San Francisco and a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration, Human Resources Management from San Francisco State University. Cora believes in collaboration, outstanding customers, teamwork, accountability, innovation, excellence, and a vibrant community, and states, I look forward to leading and mentoring the HR team during the transition so we can provide excellent customer service to our business partners and assist them in accomplishing their department goals that ultimately support the city's mission and strategic initiatives. You know, that's actually not a bad definition for the Newark Way. The whole description sounds like the Newark Way. In her free time, you have free time.
I do.
Cora enjoys practicing hot yoga, trying new restaurants, and traveling. Let's welcome Cora to the city of Newark. Daniel Sequeira, city engineer. Daniel. Hi, Daniel. Pleasure meeting you. Very sharp, Daniel. Thank you very much. Daniel joined the city in December as the new city engineer in the Public Works Department Engineering Division. Daniel brings 23 years of engineering experience with 5 public agencies. Some highlights include City of Concord, a senior civil engineer managing their land development and capital improvement divisions, having supervised city projects with a $45 million budget. Gosh, I hope he brought some of that money down our way. City of Pleasanton, as a senior civil engineer managing the land development division that oversaw the entitlement, design, and construction of approximately 50 subdivisions, along with projects like the Workday headquarters and a Costco store. That was a little bit of fun up in Pleasanton, wasn't it?
I was there for the poppy seed muffin.
City of Benicia, as city engineer managing the engineering division. City of Vallejo, as city engineer managing day-to-day operations of the engineering division, including capital improvement projects with an annual average budget of $39 million, construction, inspection, and land development with currently 7 active subdivisions and another Costco store. Daniel is a licensed professional civil engineer and has a Bachelor of Science degree in civil engineering from the University of Southern California. In his free time, you and I could share on that one. David, of course, is a Berkeley fan, and I'm an Irish fan. So needless to say, when we think of SC, it's not one that elevates to the top of our rah-rah list. In his free time, he enjoys traveling, iPhone photography, and the outdoors. Let's welcome Daniel to the city of Newark. My pleasure. Michael Coulomb. I got it right, Michael, didn't I?
Yeah, well done.
It's such a hard word. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you, sir. Nice to see you. Likewise.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael joins the city as the first housing policy and program manager. In his role, Michael will be responsible for implementing the city's housing element, securing additional resources to address Newark's housing and homelessness needs, and increasing the city's supply of homes for families across a range of incomes. Prior to coming to the city, Michael served the public at the State Department of Housing and Community Development, where he managed a development pipeline of over 4,000 new affordable homes across California, and encumbered $130 million in affordable housing grants. You come to our city at the right time. This council and this mayor are absolutely supportive of affordable housing, and it will be our goal to see if we can increase affordability in our community. So you're here at the right time. Michael's earlier professional experience includes roles at Bridge Housing Corporation, where he assessed the impact of affordable housing on the lives of Bridge residents, and Fitzgerald and Halliday Incorporated, where he served as a planner and community engagement specialist for transportation and land use projects across the northeastern United States. A graduate of UC Berkeley's Masters of City and Regional Planning program. I think sometimes you just throw that in there whether they graduated from Berkeley or not.
We check this credentials.
Michael now lives in Oakland with his partner, Brandon. Michael likes taking weekend and early morning strolls to admire the new sustainable developments in nearby Emeryville, longer weekend bike hikes to explore more of the Bay Area, and hosting friends for homemade meal. We're looking forward to that. Michael holds an undergraduate degree from the University of St. Andrews, Scotland, and does his best to keep up with friends and family across the globe. Please welcome Michael to the city of Newark. Yvonne Hu, assistant planner. Hi, Yvonne. Welcome. Yvonne Hu lives in Milpitas and is a proud graduate of Milpitas High School. She recently graduated summa cum laude. See, we don't just hire people. We hire people that are brilliant in this organization. Congratulations. I know a lot of hard work went into achieving that. With a bachelor's degree in city and regional planning from Cal Poly, where else, right? San Luis Obispo. Before joining the city of Newark, she interned at the City of Oakland's Department of Transportation, contributing to projects involving demand responsiveness, parking, and universal basic mobility. She also gained valuable planning experience as an intern at the City of Los Altos, where she led the city's first Utility Box Act program and supported code amendments to the residential parking standards. One of my former colleagues, Laurel Prevetti, I don't know if you knew Laurel down in Los Altos, was down there. In her spare time, Yvonne enjoys photography, swimming, and exploring parks with her family. Please welcome Yvonne to the city of Newark. And if I could have Reggie Tamsey, please. Hi, Reggie. Welcome. My pleasure. Reggie graduated from San Jose State University in, he's going to be the human resources technician. Graduated from San Jose State University in human resources management. He started his career working for the San Jose Convention Center in human resources. After some time, he followed his dream to live and work in Japan. Wow, that must have been fun.
Oh, yeah.
For years, he was an English teacher in Japan, teaching high school students. Eventually, wanting to get back in an HR-related field, he moved to Tokyo to work for the Bridge Group, which is an executive search agency. At the Bridge Group, he worked holistically with his clients that consisted of some of the world's largest tech companies, Big Four, Big Pharma, among others. Most recently, he comes to us from San Jose State University's HR team. He was responsible for bringing in quality faculty and students to work in the CSU system. Reggie is a local to the Bay Area, having grown up in Fremont. He frequented locations in Fremont, Newark, and Union City, including Mission Peak. How many times did you climb Mission Peak?
Can't even count anymore.
Really?
You couldn't tell from this figure, though.
Wow, no. Hey, I did it once, and once is all it's going to be. And Coyote Hill. Some of his hobbies include traveling to different countries to experience various cultures. He also loves taking road trips in the United States to see what other cities and states have to offer. Since he is a foodie, he is always open to hearing about recommendations of places to try. So feel free to let him know about any good restaurants. I'm going to add this, Mr. Benoit, in the city of Newark. Reggie's the type of person that you can reach out to when you need help, is fully transparent and friendly. If you need any assistance, please reach out to him, and he will do whatever he can to support you. Again, the Newark way. Welcome, Reggie.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the opportunity for the public to comment on any item that is not currently on the agenda. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to comment on an item not on the agenda tonight? Yes, please come forward. Please state your name for the record if you don't mind.
Good evening. I'm Mike Marzano, and I'm here representing the First Presbyterian Church here in Newark. And I'm here to make a formal invitation to the council, our city staff, as well as the community, to the Martin Luther King Remembrance event this Sunday at 3 p.m. there at the church. This is the 48th annual event. And so we get people coming in from Oakland to San Jose, all come and center here in Newark for this type of an event. And so it's usually very popular, and we try to have enough seating for everyone and a variety of music as well as other things to remember Dr. Martin Luther King. Thank you.
Thank you. We normally don't comment on public comment, but I'm going to take just a moment to advise my colleagues. This is really an annual event in the great city of Newark, and we have it here in our city. I've had the chance to attend it on a number of occasions, and as Mike mentioned, not only great music, oftentimes really some great words of wisdom from some of the speakers that they have come speak on that day. It's in really remembrance of Martin Luther King and all he did for our greater community. So I'd certainly encourage you colleagues, if you have the chance to be there on Sunday at 3 o'clock, please do so. We, the city, will be presenting a commendation that day as well. So thank you, Mike, for letting us know. Any other items for public comment that are not items on the agenda? Seeing not, we'll go ahead and move on. The consent calendar. Mr. Benoon, is there any item you want pulled from the consent calendar?
Not this evening, Your Honor.
Colleagues, any items you want pulled from the consent calendar? Okay, the consent, audience, any items you want pulled from the consent calendar? The consent calendar really only consists of a couple items: approval of the audited demands and the approval of the December 12th, 2024 special and regular meeting minutes. If there's no comments, I'd look for a motion and a second, please, to approve the consent calendar.
I'll move approval of the consent calendar.
Thank you. Moved by Councilmember Grindal. Seconded. Seconded by Councilmember Jorgens. Please vote. Do I need to call Susie? No, you don't. And that passes unanimously, 5-0. Thank you, colleagues. There are no public hearings tonight. The only other business we have tonight, actually we have a couple items, but the first item is the Economic Development Update and Informational Report. Mr. Benoon?
Yes, good evening, Your Honor, and members of the council. This item consists of a presentation from Ms. Angela Sway, the city's Deputy Director of Economic Development. Before we proceed any further, I'd just like to point out some brief background and context. It has been the tradition of this council for the past few years to receive a report from our Economic Development Deputy Director. And that report generally summarizes the past year's economic development activities occurring throughout the city, as well as outline planned activities that we hope to accomplish in the new year. And tonight, Ms. Sway will do that. The presentation will focus on 4 key areas: industrial, hotel, retail, and small business. Ms. Sway will also highlight some additional economic initiatives that are planned for this year. I would like to note that our Community Development Director, Mr. Stephen Turner, is sitting here at the dais. He'll be able to answer any questions that the council may have as well. With that in mind, I'll turn it over to Deputy Director Sway. You have the floor.
Thank you, City Manager. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, esteemed City Council, and colleagues. Angela Sway, Deputy Economic Development Director. This evening's item is an economic development update to Council. My presentation will include a review of previous economic development efforts, highlights of our current demographic data points and recent achievements, and then a look forward at the Economic Development Division's work plan initiatives for 2025. This evening, I am joined by Community Development Director Stephen Turner, and we'll be happy to answer your questions at the conclusion of the presentation. And with that, I will begin. It's important that we honor the past and recognize the hard work and positive results achieved by our city leaders and city staff in building what we have today. And in that context, I'll touch upon Newark's commercial markets, the city's response to the COVID pandemic as it relates to local businesses, and our business outreach and engagement efforts. So starting off with industrial, in 2018, 1 million square feet of industrial space was entitled, resulting in the development of two major projects, Gateway 84 on Gateway and the Morton Commerce Center on Central. When completed in 2022, both projects were fully leased, but unfortunately, the pandemic caused major shifts in business operations around the world, causing companies to rethink space needs and expansion plans. Based on today's calculations, currently Gateway 84 has a vacancy rate of 16%. Building 3 is listed as available. The Morton Commerce Center is listed as 75% occupied. However, we know that Meta's commissary kitchen for meal prep is not in use. We've resumed the scope of work for an industrial land study, which was paused at the beginning of 2024 due to staffing changes. And I anticipate coming back to council with preliminary findings by late spring. Biomedical and biotech sector. The East Bay is widely recognized as a hub for biomed innovation. The region has more than 880 life science companies, bringing in billions of grant dollars annually. The big draw, of course, is access to highly qualified talent and workforce, cutting-edge R&D capabilities, world-class universities, go Bears, I was waiting for you to do that, national labs that create an environment to foster innovation and growth. I'm proud to say that Newark has approximately 30 biomed and bio-related companies, having tripled our count over the past couple of decades. Some of those companies include Allogene, Pharmastat, Vioptics, OptoKey, Atom, and Reach Pharma, just to name a few. And then as you see here, we're on to advanced manufacturing and life sciences. Next, collectively, cities within southern Alameda County have impressive stats, as you can see on this slide. Over 71.1 million square feet of industrial inventory, providing over 60,000 industrial jobs for the region. Newark has over 30 advanced manufacturing and life science companies that provide thousands of jobs to our community and to the region. Oops. I'm currently working on obtaining additional Newark-specific data, and I'll be able to share that with council at a later date. New research and development in these fields focus on energy generation and healthcare. And to that point, one of the newest companies to move into Newark is Vertigy, pictured here on the slide. They manufacture dynamic alkaline electrolyzers for large-scale energy solutions. And that's a mouthful. Our hotel sector. The city commissioned a hotel study in 2023 to better understand the local and regional markets and to track our post-pandemic recovery. The study was conducted by Sandra Storm and Mark Keller of EHG Consulting. Some significant findings at the time indicated Newark's business class hotels hovered around the 64% occupancy rate with an average daily rate of $137 for a 12-month period. Now, those findings led to the initiative to place Measure LL on the November 24 ballot, which was approved by Newark voters, and that increases our TOT rate from 10% to 14%, potentially generating additional revenue for the city. Some new data I received shows Newark's 2024 average daily rate, our ADR, increased to $141, and our occupancy rates have risen to 72%, and that surpasses our regional neighbors. And just as a quick update, so Newark is at 72% occupancy. Palo Alto Menlo Park hotels are at 71%, Mountain View Cupertino at 66%, and the Fremont Milpitas hotels at 61%. Changes to Newark hotels. Town Place Suites transitioned into Cedar Community Apartments through Project Homekey, and Hyatt Place is a new hotel to our hotel stock. Now for retail, Newark's retail market overall is actually faring very well with an enviable vacancy rate of only 1.3% citywide. Now, please keep in mind this excludes New Park Mall. As they self-report on CoStar, they are fully leased with no vacancies. CoStar is a commercial real estate platform widely used throughout the industry. And aside from parcel data and other county and property records, property owners and brokers self-report to this database and of their available spaces and occupancy. And you'll see here market rents in Newark average $3.13 per square foot per month, and that's compared to Fremont's average of $2.85 per square foot per month, Union City's average of $3.03, and the East Bay region's average of $2.67. And here is a list of Newark's top 25 sales tax producers from third quarter 2024 in alpha order. Next, I'll move on to the city's response to the COVID pandemic as it relates to our business community. So during the COVID pandemic, the city supported local businesses and business owners through 2 grant programs, the Newark Cares Small Business Grants and the Exceptional COVID Grant Program. These 2 programs alone provided over $1.7 million of necessary funding to 139 of our Newark small businesses. Of those 139 businesses, we have seen that 14 have since closed, but that means almost 90% of the businesses have stayed operational after receiving this essential funding. Also during the pandemic, the Economic Development Division contracted with Michael Cohen of Spectrum Small Business Services to augment staff's capacity to provide individual advising services to small business owners and entrepreneurs. So since 2021, the program has provided 230 business advising sessions, and this is totally free of charge to the participants. And because the advising program has been so well received, we intend to continue with these services. Next, the PPRR, which is our Plan, Prepare, Response, and Recovery Program, was launched in 2023 in collaboration with the Alameda County Fire Department with the goal of equipping Newark businesses and their employees with essential life-saving skills. The program consists of these 3 modules: fire extinguisher use, hands-only CPR and abdominal thrust maneuver, and personal emergency planning. So participating businesses that complete all 3 sessions receive a certificate of completion issued by the city and by the fire department and is presented at city council meetings. To date, 84 businesses have successfully completed the training program, and that includes the training of over 300 individuals that are now better equipped to respond in emergency situations. Local participating companies that have completed the program include Adam, Doubletree Hotel, Santa Fe Market, Brytech Electropolishing, Hyatt Place, and Protect Pack. And I'd like to give a special thanks to Richard Martinez, he was here earlier, for his work in partnership with our economic development staff in launching this important program. And because Newark's pilot program has been so successful, the ACFD is looking to continue and grow the program's capacity. So now I'd like to touch upon our business outreach and engagement efforts. Starting off with supporting the Chamber of Commerce. In 2022, City Council authorized an agreement to support the Chamber's efforts to recruit a new CEO executive director. And I'm happy to report that as of earlier this week, the Chamber leadership team is working on offering the position to a candidate that they've been vetting for the past month. Having the chamber up and running again will be a huge asset to our local business community. And personally, I'm a strong believer of the city staff working together and working in partnership with the chamber. So this really is an exciting time for us. And with this type of collaboration, we'll be able to amplify our efforts and really be more effective in serving our businesses. Next are the HR meetups, which were Zoom meetings. So during the pandemic, these meetings were started as a means to disseminate information, and they've become an important tool for us to continue engaging with the human resources professionals of our local businesses. We use these meetings to discuss shared challenges and discuss possible solutions. And because they've been, again, well received, we will continue to hold these meetings moving forward. Next, our economic development team produces and sends out a quarterly business newsletter that provides timely updates and resources. It's proven to be an effective communication tool to engage with our businesses and provide timely updates. And we have almost 1,500 subscribers. So please contact me if you would like to be added to our distribution list. Next, economic development staff works closely with business owners, and in particular in the Old Town area, to establish the Old Town Business Association. You may recall last fall, the current president, Veronica Reyes, introduced the group at a city council meeting during public comment. Ms. Reyes' family owns property and runs local businesses, and she has graciously stepped up to lead the group. Now I'll give some highlights of Newark's current demographics and other achievements. Oops. I'm a little off here. So you'll see here that some of the stats that we have. Newark continues to grow its job base. So from 2018 to 2023, jobs increased by 1.7%. And to date, it's estimated that we have almost 26,000 jobs here in the city. Newark's top 3 industry employers are transportation and warehousing, manufacturing, and professional, scientific, and technical services. Newark has approximately 1,500 businesses ranging from small local retailers, restaurants, and larger corporations that provide a diverse selection of jobs to our residents and to the region. Some notable newer businesses include Costco, Vertigy, Black Coffee, Timog, Saffron Indian Market, and coming soon is Eggholic. And this chain in particular has been quickly expanding throughout the US and Canada, so we're excited to have them locate here in Newark. Based on data from the 2020 decennial census and the 2023 ACS 5-year census estimates, our population is nearing 48,000. Median age is 37. Number of households is a little over 15,000. The mean average household income is over 207,000. And Newark has a highly educated resident base with over 47% having a bachelor's degree or higher. Oh, and additionally, as of November 2024, Newark's unemployment rate was 4.3%, which is lower than the county's 4.7%. Now here, this is a fun slide showing how well Newark ranks. If you're not familiar with it, niche.com is a ranking and review site of schools and communities. Their methodology includes data such as health stats, school district rankings, crime rates, transportation, local amenities, and cost of living. So please keep in mind the threshold for niche.com categorizing city as a city, the population is of 100,000 or more. So in this case, Newark is considered a place or a suburb due to our population size. And so here are some highlights of Newark's top rankings. Newark is 29 out of 526 for best suburb for young professionals in California. 192 out of 526 best suburb to live in California. 307th as the best place for young professionals in California. And then in this instance, place refers to California neighborhoods. And then 372nd out of 821 best places to retire in California. And place here compares communities. So now I'm going to highlight some of our recent initiatives and achievements. So here, proud to announce the development of our How to Start a Business in Newark guide, which is also available in Spanish. We have been handing these out, to entrepreneurs. We have them out on the counter, and it's just a nice and easy way for people to understand how to start a business here locally. And it is a step-by-step guide. Next, we have Newark at a Glance, our demographic sheet with current data points. Hosting Manufacturing Week events and activities that engage our local manufacturers and connected them with Newark students and residents. We launched our Welcome Certificate program and visiting new businesses as they open. Giving commercial broker tours and actively responding to the state's GoBiz site selection inquiries. Hosting business workshops, and in partnership with the Newark Library, we held a series presented in Spanish, and that was very well attended. We hosted our first annual Small Business Saturday event in November. We've participated and had event sponsorship. So the city served as an event sponsor for the 2024 East Bay Manufacturing Summit to further promote Newark's importance in Silicon Valley's manufacturing sector. We actively outreach and do business engagement that includes supporting the establishment of the Old Town Business Association, attending commercial and retail-related conferences and events, and ongoing meetings with retailers, commercial brokers, and we're trying to engage with our property owners as well. And growing our small and mighty economic development team. So as we work towards continuing to strengthen Newark's dynamic economy, some of the initiatives we have planned for 2025 include improving the economic development's web and social media presence. Next, hosting a mayor and city manager business roundtable event or events. Next, building upon former Councilmember Collazo's enthusiasm and reminder to the public to shop Newark. So we'll be looking at a Shop Local campaign. And then identifying opportunities to capitalize on Bay Area professional sports tourism. And this was surprising that we have so many things coming in within the next couple of years. So the NBA All-Star will be held in February 2025, just in San Francisco and in the region. NFL Super Bowl in February of 2026. And FIFA in June of 2026. So we really have an opportunity to capture all of those visitors as they're coming into the Bay Area. And as you heard earlier, our hotel sector really is primed to receive that. We also want to explore the opportunity to reimagine an expanded New Park Place area and Ballantyne Commercial Corridor through a technical assistance panel, or TAP, offered through the Urban Land Institute. TAPs provide multidisciplinary recommendations on specific projects or project areas. And panelists usually include a developer, planner, financial or market analyst, and regulatory expert. So this will be a good opportunity for us to get fresh eyes and some new ideas for the area. And in fact, a few years ago, the City of Dublin commissioned a TAP for developing its downtown, and based on those recommendations, they're actually moving forward with that. Next, finalizing the industrial land study I mentioned earlier in the presentation, and then also looking into developing a business recognition program. And then we want to develop economic development branding in conjunction with the city's overall branding efforts. And additionally, but not listed here, is serving as an event sponsor for the East Bay EDA Innovations Award, which is upcoming in March, as well as serving as a table sponsor for the State of the Valley in 2025 to further promote Newark as a key player in Silicon Valley. And that event is scheduled for March 7th. So with that, I want to thank you for the opportunity to present this economic development update. Community Development Director Stephen Turner and I are available to answer your questions. Thank you.
Great. Colleagues, any clarifying questions before I ask the audience if they have any questions? Vice Mayor Little?
I have one quick question. So you mentioned, of course, I love hotels and restaurants. That's what I teach. And I was kind of curious, how many hotel rooms are in our city?
I would have to do the calculations. I know we have 11 hotels, and I can get back with you on the exact number of the rooms.
Any other clarifying questions? Yes, Councilmember DeCancio.
I just had a question about some steps that maybe would be taken to ensure that the public's also going to be incorporated in the decision making. So what types of steps are those going to be?
I'm sorry, for the decision making in
The revitalization of the infrastructure projects that you mentioned in the presentation. Like we're looking into 2025 and so I think it's really great that there's going to be the businesses that's going to be incorporated as well as the mayor and to reach out to the public with the websites and public outreach. But how do we attract the public to get to those websites, or how are we going to let them know that change is coming and there's opportunities for them to put in their input?
Oh, sure. Excellent question. We do post things on the city's website, engagement. We typically have informational booths at many of the city events or community events. So yes, we really want to be able to engage with residents, hear kind of what their needs are, obviously, because we want to be able to meet those needs in terms of what types of businesses that we're bringing in. So yeah, anyway, we'll use a number of different tools for community outreach.
Mm-hmm. Great,
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, any questions regarding the presentation that we just heard? This is an informational item. Now come back to the council for any questions, comments. Councilmember Grindal?
You indicated a TAP that you're working on. What is the process of that planning? We've had very good experiences with that. I personally have, and the city has as well. What is that process? Have you already engaged with ULI, or if you could just sort of elaborate a little bit.
Sure, thank you. So the Urban Land Institute has this TAP program. I have reached out to them in terms of seeing where they are in their scheduling. It looks like they have capacity in late summer and early fall. I know that sounds far off, but council member, you may recall that there's a lot of preparation that goes into it because basically what that TAP looks like is they have a panel, a group of experts who will come in, but they don't do a lot of the background homework. So staff is required to prepare somewhat binders of background, so zoning, history of the area, kind of what has been going on, what's around. So basically we are passing off kind of a condensed version of a summary that they can quickly look over, and then when they do their site visit, that's really kind of their time spent here just kind of seeing what's going on. So we have engaged with ULI in terms of our interest, and then we will take the next steps, obviously wanting to check in with direction from city manager and city council in moving forward with that.
Great. If I can sort of follow up one question, and it goes back to the question from Councilmember Cantacio. In that TAP process, we just strongly encourage you to involve the community itself, not just the experts, but to really provide opportunities for community input. I'm sure you're already planning to do that, but I wanted to really highlight that. That's important.
Thank you for that reminder. Yes, it is very important to engage with the communities so that recommendations are not just made within a bubble, but that this TAP group really does understand who the community is and what they're working towards and with. Thank you.
Other questions? Councilmember Jorgens?
Yeah, I also had a question about the TAP for the New Park Mall area. You know, we do have a specific plan there. Are we thinking we want to look at this with fresh eyes, or are we using that as the base to look at, implementation of that?
We want to use that as a base, but obviously things have changed since that specific plan was adopted. And then the idea is actually to expand the area to include that Ballantyne corridor. So a little bit larger and seeing what other additional opportunities can come within looking at kind of a larger area.
That's great to hear. My other comment there is going to be to see if we could expand the area outside the specific plan area. So I'm glad to hear that will be happening.
Thank you.
Other questions? Excellent report. Couple questions, couple comments. You talked about the occupancy rate, percentage of occupancy of the various hotels in Newark as we compare, for example, to Palo Alto and these other communities and Fremont. Even though our percentage of occupancy may be a little higher than theirs, our average daily rate is significantly lower than theirs. So I want to make sure that that's really the issue that I want to focus on. I would love to see our average daily rate on our hotels not be equal to what they are in Palo Alto, but certainly a lot closer to what they might be in Fremont. And I know that we saw a slight uptick in terms of the average daily rate, but I'll be interested to see how that continues to grow. The big thanks to staff regarding the COVID response. Mr. Benoon, you've heard me say this before, and you mentioned it tonight. 90% of those businesses that we provided grant dollars to stayed in business, but for those grant dollars, those businesses would have closed, or certainly a high percentage of them. I get my hair cut at George's Barbershop over on Sycamore, and she was thankful for the grant dollars that she received. It's a hairdresser, haircut business that undoubtedly without those grant funds would have closed. So our responsibility in government is when we have the opportunity to help small business, we certainly want to do that. I love the emergency response program that you highlighted. We give members of the chamber, Mr. Benoon, kind of a plaque when they become a chamber member. Is there an opportunity for us to give these businesses that have participated in the emergency response preparedness, to give them a plaque that highlights the fact that this business took the time to participate and is now a member of, and maybe there's an annual opportunity for them to kind of get recertified, because there will be a change, of course, of employees and staff members over there. So maybe give them an opportunity to recertify, if need be, that preparedness, because as we're seeing in Southern California, the more people that are prepared to respond to an emergency, the better for the community. So that, a thought that I would ask you to look into. Take a deep breath. How does New Park Mall represent 100% occupancy, which in my mind, Mr. Benoon, is just mind-boggling. You know, we all walk through the mall, we do business at the mall. In my mind, it misrepresents what's going on at the mall. Any thoughts, comments on as to why they're able to represent 100% occupancy at the mall?
Thank you. Stephen Turner, Community Development Director. As Deputy Director Sway mentioned, it's self-reporting to the CoStar system, and that's the primary system that we use to assess vacancies. So it is a self-reporting system. It's not independently verified or checked, but it is the best system that we have for that. It's obviously clear that that mall is empty, a good portion of it. That's a concern to us for sure. It's not the council's vision to have a mall that is barely succeeding. According to the specific plan, really the specific plan was put in place for the economic growth of the mall, supported by residential uses. That's been the long vision of the council, and certainly with the original adoption of the plan in 2018 and the amendments that were made in 2022 to facilitate that happening. The residential was a big portion of that. 100% residential and rental projects just haven't been viable, and I think that's one of the reasons why we haven't seen the residential development happen at the mall. But we think it's a great opportunity to work with the Urban Land Institute and the TAP program to take another look, both at the mall, itself and the surrounding areas to see what advantages we can promote and how we can grow and change that area to become the economic center of the region that we have envisioned for many, many years. You know, the data really is not showing what reality is on the site. We think we know that, and we will do our best to either find additional data that perhaps more accurately reflects what the mall is doing, and that feeds into the rest of the vacancy retail throughout the city.
How nice it is to be able to self-report.
Yeah.
I'm going to self-report that this is the best city council in the entire Bay Area. And who's going to challenge me?
Well, I think it's the world, sir.
Okay. And then lastly, I want to thank the city and Mr. Benoon. You know that I was, as a former member of the Housing Authority, when I heard that there were millions and millions of dollars available to us to help the region address homelessness and affordability, we took an underutilized hotel and converted it, and we were able to obtain 60 housing vouchers, and we were able to create opportunities for homeless veterans to provide them with a home. And I've always indicated that it's easy to sit by and stand by while others are doing their best to address homelessness, but we took a real step forward in this city by converting an underutilized hotel and provided homes to 125 people. I think that's a real crowning jewel on our part, that we can demonstrate that we don't have all the answers when it comes to homelessness, but we're certainly going to participate and see if we can't help in that regard. And a lot of people are living in much safer conditions as a result of our efforts. So thank you for that. Those are my comments. Again, this is an informational item. Mr. Benoon, any final comments?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. I just want to take a brief moment to respond to some of your comments. First, thank you, Your Honor, for pointing out staff's fabulous response to the COVID pandemic. I wanted to jump in and rudely interrupt Ms. Sway's presentation just to express my absolute pleasure and just gratitude for staff's amazing accomplishments with the COVID pandemic. The economic development support that we provided was significant. The $1.7 million that the council allocated helped survive almost over 90% of the businesses that we reached out to. It was a significant hurdle and task that was accomplished by many of our staff members, including some of whom are sitting here in the audience with us this evening. And it wasn't just economic development staff, but it was a whole citywide effort, and finance and city attorney's office and planning staff as well. We engaged with the community in the Promotores network, and that was just a very heavy lift, and I'm very proud of our response. It was very phenomenal, and I thank you, Your Honor, for pointing that out. Secondly, in regards to the hotel rooms, we do have 1,800 units here in the city of Newark. Another point, Your Honor pointed out the desire to increase the room rates and the average daily room rent. Of course, staff fully supports that. About a year ago, we had talked when we received the hotel presentation from our hotel consultants. We had contemplated as a council and staff the notion of, should the TOT increase revenue be adopted, enacted by voters, that there be some funds set aside for the city to market our hotels. And staff would, of course, continue to support that. Measure LL will generate approximately $2 to $2.5 million per year in general fund revenue. A small fraction of that could be set aside to hire a consultant to build a hotel website and do some small little things that frankly would provide increased revenue above what the projections were in the ballot statement. So that is something that staff, assuming the council has no objections or concerns, obviously a majority of the council has changed in the past year, but that's something that staff would recommend continuing to pursue, and we would of course be glad to do that. The third thing, I think, Your Honor, you pointed out the plaques. Staff did, along with members of the council and the mayor, did give nice certificates to those businesses that did participate in that planning. We'd be more than happy to prepare those plaques. It's a small amount of funds. It's something, certainly, as Your Honor pointed out, something that needs to be celebrated and recognized. And of course, we'd be happy to do that and put that together.
Thank you, Mr. Benoon. I had two other comments that I forgot to make. One is I'm excited about the Chamber of Commerce. We absolutely need a successful Chamber of Commerce here in the city of Newark. When you talk about government and the city, business is a big part of what makes us successful. We need an active chamber, we need a progressive chamber, and I'm excited that we're moving forward in the right direction to fulfill those executive positions at the chamber. And last, I was neglectful in not thanking our residents. 80% of our residents passed Measure LL. It's unprecedented when you go out to your community and say, well, you know what, we want to raise taxes. And granted, it's a TOT, doesn't directly impact residents of our community. But when you get over 80% of your residents supporting a tax increase, it means you've done a good job. And Mr. Benoon, I think we spent that whole campaign cost the city or those that participated about $800. Is that your recollection?
I believe that's what the committee represented, yes.
Yeah, so a small investment for a huge amount of money that's going to benefit our community, not just in maybe marketing hotels, but as we've talked about, looking at 2 new fire stations and other real amenities that will make this a better community moving forward. So any last comments, colleagues, before I move on? Councilmember Grindal?
Yes. And I'd finished my questions, but I do have a few comments. So notwithstanding their self-reporting, and we do have some severe, long-standing problems with property owners, and frankly, I'm going to go ahead and call it out and be straightforward. These property owners are irresponsible. They're not investing in their communities. They're not maintaining their properties. They're clearly not seeking hard for new tenants. I know that it's very common for a property owner to take a loss on a property and use that as a tax benefit in other locations. And I am virtually certain that that's what's happening here. And that's why we're seeing certain locations, New Park Plaza, New Park Mall, the former Mi Pueblo site, other locations in town that are really just not working hard to fill those spaces. So I know that staff is doing all they can to cajole them into doing so, but I think it's time for us to start thinking about putting more teeth in and more of a stick, not just a carrot, to really force these property owners to be responsible, to maintain their properties, to bring tenants in. Just one example, in my opinion, we really could use some recreational opportunities in Newark. I think a bowling alley or something similar, although I'm not so sure about the drinking and the axe throwing, so let's talk about that. But you have John's Incredible Pizza that's sitting empty. It's a basement location. There's no windows. A perfect location to put in a bowling alley. And honestly, I don't know that the owners are being responsible in looking at that. I know what happens is they've got somebody in bankruptcy court paying their lease still, so they're not motivated to do anything. Well, I want to motivate them. I want to motivate them by intensive code enforcement and even considering a fee or a fine for a lack of filling those locations. So. That's a little off topic of what you're bringing forward, but I really wanted to stress that I think it is time as a community to start being much stronger and being harder on these irresponsible businesses. And so that was more of a comment than a question, so you don't have to respond, but you can if you wish.
I'll respond because I don't necessarily disagree with anything you said. I think these business owners have a responsibility to their community to do their best to try to find a tenant, and if not, maintain the property so that it doesn't create a negative impact on our community. So I absolutely agree with that. And I think, Mr. Benoon, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the city's looking at, as other cities have, an ordinance that might require some level of maintenance of a vacant commercial property. Is the city looking at something of that nature? I know other cities have.
I'm going to defer to Mr. Turner.
We're not currently looking at a specific code amendment. to in a way, force or compel those property owners to make changes. I think one of the approaches that we would like to do in community development, which also includes community preservation and code enforcement, is look for opportunities to be more proactive rather than reactive in our code enforcement. Going out to commercial property owners and assessing compliance with previously approved plans and conditions of approval. And we think that that more proactive type enforcement could certainly move the needle. And if we find that additional encouragement from the city to property owners to make changes to improve their site, then that could be something we look into as well. We also don't want to necessarily sit back and wait for businesses to come to Newark. We want to do as much as we can with commercial brokers to let them know about Newark and the great opportunities that exist here for businesses. We think that in some respects, Newark gets a little bit overshadowed by some of our larger municipal neighbors. So we really want to promote Newark in a very positive way to show that there are opportunities that are here. We can do that through a variety of methods, again, but the brokers, there's also the International Council of Shopping Centers. They hold events locally here in Northern California, as well as nationally, and that's another opportunity for us to outreach to businesses and chains that may not even know that Newark exists. So we want to do a lot of that proactive type of work, and if we find that we also need that stick approach, that we can look at code amendments that could provide compelling reasons for property owners to update their properties.
Excellent. I mean, all these businesses were permitted with certain permit conditions in terms of landscaping and general upkeep of the property, and to revisit those properties and remind them of their responsibility, I think is a great first step.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that'll cure the situation and encourage them to do something with their property. But knowing, as Councilmember Gandal mentioned, that there's other opportunities for us to look at down the road should those be unsuccessful.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for that. Colleagues, any last questions, comments?
I'd like to make a comment.
Yes, Vice Mayor.
One of the big things that I really am an advocate of, and I'm so glad you and I discussed it both when we were campaigning, is the bowling alley. And if you look at the demographics, there's nothing. And we are losing out on Tri-City. We'd have all those Fremont folks coming over here, and we have the opportunity for it. We've talked about it. The El Pueblo place would be fantastic for it, but there are, like you just said, the Incredible Pizza place is great, but we have to look now that we have to look at what's changing. It's not just us. It's not just Newark. There's a lot of changes going on these days. And one big thing is everyone's buying online. And Collazo said all the time, shop local, but everyone buys online. This is causing all these shopping centers to close. So it's not just our shopping center. It's not just it's not just our mall, but we're having to see what we can do with it. And one of the suggestions that was brought up to me was turning it into an activity location. And we may want to look into that as well. And I don't know, I'm learning a lot of this stuff too, but possibly the upper areas, a lot of new things going on with shopping malls is turning it into residential homes. So, I mean, we can't force businesses to go in. Times are changing. Let's see if we can format and adapt to come up with new ideas to get it filled. Thank you.
And Mr. Benoon, I'm really confident with the direction the Economic Development Department is going, that they understand what this council is looking for in terms of amenities and housing and all those other ideas moving forward. And I know that that team will do a great job making sure that the message gets out there to the community. And I think having an active Chamber of Commerce will also help in that regard. We haven't had an active chamber here in some time, so this will certainly help. Did you have any last comments, my friend?
No. No, Your Honor, other than thank you for the collective comments, and we'd be happy to follow up with the council at a future date with these items. Thank you.
Great. Well, that was an informational item and a great job. Thank you very much for that. The next item on the agenda is City Manager report. Mr. Benoon?
Yes, Your Honor, members of the council, I have two updates for you this evening. The first one is the city clerk is accepting applications to fill a vacancy on both the Planning Commission and the Measure GEG Oversight Committee. Applications are due to the city clerk's office by January 29th at 2 p.m. Applicants must be current Newark residents and at least 18 years old. For more information, please check our website, and you're also welcome to contact the city clerk at city.clerk@newark.org. So that's my first announcement. And my second announcement is that we do have the pleasure of celebrating someone's birthday this evening. Our esteemed colleague here, The city attorney, today is his actual birthday, and it is a nice round number, not to divulge confidential information, but he's an outsourced vendor. So the HR rules, of course, don't apply. But today is his actual birthday, and rather than being home with his family, he is here with us at the council meeting this evening. So happy birthday, Counselor. Thank you.
Our city attorney is such a grateful and graceful individual that he told me tonight as he was walking in, you know, it's my birthday, and tonight, because I love the city of Newark so much, my hours will be billed to the city of Union City. So just the kind of guy you are, I wanted to thank you for that. The next item on the agenda, folks, is a resolution nominating Councilmember Terrence Grindal to the Housing Commission of the Alameda County Housing Authority. Mr. Menendez, I just simply take a vote by the council to authorize Mr. Grindal's seat on the Housing Commission?
Correct, Your Honor. A resolution has been prepared. It's your mayor's nomination, subject to consent by the council, so a motion approving the resolution would be in order.
So moved.
By Councilmember Jorgens, by Vice Mayor Little. I want to say something, Ms. Grindal. I'm appreciative of you stepping forward to be on the Housing Commission. I served on that commission for 10 years, and you're going to come away with some outstanding stories of folks that have migrated from low income to become property owners in many respects. We have over 5,000 individuals in Alameda County that are on the waiting list, just on the waiting list to get vouchers. We, the government, have done a poor job, in my estimation, of providing homes for those that are in need of homes. And the Housing Authority provides financial assistance to those folks through the federal government. And these are folks that are truly grateful. And you're going to be an outstanding contributor to that board. So I look forward to you serving on that board. We have a motion and a second. Please vote. And that passes unanimously, 5-0.
Resolution of the City Council of the City of Newark nominating Councilmember Grindal to the Housing Commission of the Alameda County Housing Authority.
Comments, my friend?
No, just wanted to thank you for those comments. I wanted to thank you for those comments and let you know that I feel who appreciates the opportunity to learn in this process and to help our community. And I also will I also am committed to bringing back information from the group for the entire council and for the entire community.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. This is council matters. So, folks, this is an opportunity for you to discuss or mention items that you think is important for the community to know or for your colleagues to know. So I'm going to start off with Councilmember Contancio.
Yes, thank you so much. I did actually have a comment first. I wanted to mention that I did see the MVAL tournament where Kenji Kawabata from our high school was able to run, and he did receive the first place there. Totally awesome, very amazing. And I wanted to also point out that not only do we want to congratulate him, but there were also members of the audience that were here to support him from the school, such as his parents were here. They're both teachers here in Newark. The superintendent, Vicar, came, Coach K came to support him, and school board member Jones. I also wanted to congratulate Sherry Villa on being elected as the Newark Teachers Association president, and to congratulate the school board members in their elections as well. There is an art fair at NMHS Library that's going to happen on February 4th from 5 to 7, so everyone in the community is welcome. It's going to have art, media, ceramics, photography, theater, the band and choir, and also their cooking is going to be there as well. Next Tuesday, there is coffee with the principal, also at Newark Memorial High School at 5:30, and following that is the PTA meeting. Thank you.
Councilmember Jorgens.
Nothing for me.
Thank you. Councilmember Grindal.
Oh, sorry. Yes, a couple things. First of all, the August recess is something that we've traditionally done, but in the time since the city has been taking August off, the schools went and put August in for all those locations. So I would like to see the council change our August recess to a July recess to better align with the school holidays. Obviously, that requires council action. So I'm asking for some essentially consensus to bring that, for staff to bring that back and make that change. I think it would be a better fit for the way our school calendar operates now. So that's one issue. And what's the method for getting consensus, or?
Oh, I thought you might want to do your second one and then
Sure,
we'll come back
sure.
to your first one.
Absolutely. On Saturday, I'm going to have my first coffee with a council member at the Old Town Starbucks at Saturday the 11th, 2 p.m. People can stop by. Of course, you don't have to come just to a conference. If you can go to the city's website and email me, call me, text me, and we can talk anytime. But I'm hopeful that maybe just by sitting in a coffee shop and folks can come by and talk to me, maybe they'll be engaging with our community. So I'm hoping for that. In addition, and I'm sorry if I steal any of your thunder, but I would like to see if we can adjourn our meeting tonight in honor of President Carter, given that it's National Day morning. So those are my issues.
Excellent. And I think colleagues, Councilmember Grindal mentioned the item number one quite succinctly. We're not taking any action on that tonight. He's simply asking, would the council consider asking city staff to study the issue and come back at a future council meeting with a recommendation or proposal that we consider changing the time off from August to July. So we're not making any decision tonight. Any concern about asking staff to bring that item back for further discussion?
I would say that I would have pretty strong objections to that on a couple grounds. The first one is, because of the way our calendar works in our budget process, our June meetings are very packed. And as such, if we took a July recess, our June meetings would be add even more length to it.
I'm not sure we can discuss the item here tonight. I'm just simply, at this point, I understand your...
If this does come back, I would like my objections addressed.
Oh, no, and you'll have an opportunity that night. No decision is going to be made tonight regarding that request, other than asking staff to bring it back to us. Mr. Benoon? Mr. City Attorney?
That's correct, Mr. Mayor. So because it's not agendized, we can't really have a discussion about it tonight, but this is just, as I understand it, to bring it back for that discussion or deliberation from the council.
Right, and the way I see it played out, colleagues, is that staff will bring an item back for us to consider changing it from, or asking us to have a conversation about changing it. We'll have an opportunity to have an open conversation about it, and then at some point, we will vote as a council whether or not to change it or leave it the way it is. So we'll have an opportunity to vote on it and express our opinions at that time. Mr. Benoon, you're looking at late January, first part of February. What are you thinking?
We would probably conduct a very brief survey. We probably wouldn't be able to put it on the agenda for next week because 2 weeks, because the staff report would have to be issued next week. But we could probably put on in early February, the first council meeting in February.
So we'll have an opportunity to have a conversation in February on that item, okay? Vice Mayor.
So a couple of things, as many of you guys know, some of the things I'm really concerned about and focusing on is senior citizens and kids. So I've already hit the ground running, and I'm working with the school district to organize a Pokemon VIP party. So come out with your cards and come play. You can come too, you're invited. But the Newark Business of 88 Card House is going to be hosting it for free, and we're working on getting that finalized, and I'm working with the school of doing every single elementary school every single different month, and they'll come out with your collections. You guys can come out, I won't tell anybody. And the other thing I'm working on right now, and I'm going to work with you on this, is some senior citizen workshops. My mother just recently almost got frauded and scammed some money, so I have personal interest in doing that. And my son did get scammed for $30. So he got the text of, hey, something's been held up at customs. Click on this link and we can get it taken care of. So he learned it was his money. So when you're 14, $30 is $30. So I'm working on putting that together. And I'm also working with the funeral school to put together a special workshop for senior citizens of your roles and responsibilities at the end of rite of passage. what you do and do not have to purchase and things of that sort. I think it's important for that. So those are some of the things
Quit
I would.
looking at me.
I'm excited. No, I'm not. Come to the dark side. No one's ever complaining. Okay, and so the other thing, I had a meeting today with the Alameda County School, Alameda County Library, Joe Stone, and we are going to be working on we're going to be working with the current what we have going on, but to make it bigger and better, a showcase and workshop for Newark, not Tri-City, Newark. Young authors, and we're going to see if we can start helping kids write their own books and new creative ideas and things of that sort. So those are some of the big projects I'm working on now. And Mike Marzano, you stole my thunder. I was going to make the announcement on the Martin Luther King Day, so I will be there on Sunday.
Good.
And I think it's a great opportunity to look at a great leader who used nonviolent ways to get his point across. Thank you.
Colleagues, I think Councilmember Contancio and Vice Mayor, you had some dates and ideas for council members that may want to come and participate. If you would funnel those through the city manager so he can circulate those to all of us, because I think the events that you mentioned might be ones that we might want to attend, but I'm not jotting all those dates down. So if you'd be kind enough to send it to the city manager, so if we have the opportunity to attend, we'd certainly like to support you as you're moving forward in the community, okay? My only comments is we are going to close this meeting tonight in actually memory of two different individuals. First is former President Jimmy Carter, who I actually had the opportunity to listen to when he ran for office back in the day. He was in Portland, Oregon, and I had the opportunity to listen to him speak. He's a man that, when you look at him historically, sometimes his achievements and accomplishments as president don't always get the accolades that I think he deserves. But really, when you think about him, you think about him more as a humanitarian and all the work that he did to help those that were less fortunate around the world. And he really does and did exemplify really what is greatness in terms of leadership. And you're not going to hear somebody say a bad word about former President Carter. He was a great man, a great leader for our country, and if we could return to that level of civility in this country, I think we'd all be better off. So we will close this meeting in memory of President Jimmy Carter. I'm also asking my colleagues to adjourn tonight's meeting in memory of Mary Ann Annis. There's so many citizens in our community that do so much that nobody ever knows their contributions to our community. And I mentioned that tonight so that as you're out there in the community and you know somebody that has either passed away and was a significant contributor to our community, irrespective of where that was, bring it to our attention so we can recognize them. Mary Ann passed away on November 23, 2024. Mary Ann and her husband George were married on August 19th, 1967, and were married for 57 years. George and Mary Ann moved to Newark on or around 1969, calling Newark home for over 50 years. Mary Ann was recruited by St. Edward's School to become the Director of Faith Formation, which is responsible for the religious education of children seeking to receive their First Holy Communion or confirmation. During her tenure, it is estimated that she assisted with the religious education of thousands of Newark children. Some additional tidbits about Mary Ann's contribution. Mary Ann was the unofficial mayor of Tottenham Court and was an active neighborhood watch captain. She was a longtime board member of the Lake Neighborhood Association, and finally a small business owner of Newark's custom shades and blinds for over 30 years. Mary Ann is survived by her husband, George, and children, Therese, Lisa, and Michael, their spouses, and 7 grandchildren. Her commitment to our city of Newark is to be commended and appreciated. So we will adjourn this meeting tonight in memory of President Jimmy Carter and our resident, Mary Ann Annis. We are adjourned.